where did I drop this thing? It's like, ah! Welcome everyone to the Monoprice Delta Pro unboxing first impressions video. So as you can see, this is my hand up here. This is quite the package that I got here from Monoprice. So it's their Delta Pro. So they've had the Delta Mini, their tiny itsy bitsy Delta printer for a while. This is, well, not from the same manufacturer, but it's the same style printer. It's the same Delta style printer, and it is massive. So this thing is pretty much almost a full meter tall, at least printer-wise. The print dimensions are a bit smaller. It's got everything from touchscreen, Wi-Fi, auto bed leveling. I'm probably missing half of the things here. Silent drive, yes, it's got TMC drivers. So it seems like it's got pretty much the full package, but well, we're gonna see how well that actually works out in practice. So this is a printer that is sold by Monoprice. So you might know them. They've got a ton of different machines. They've got a ton of different products, and they don't manufacture themselves. They white label products, and this one is from Atom 3D from Taiwan. I've tested their Atom 2 before, and it was a printer that had a lot of promise. And this is kind of, it is very much a printer that looks very similar to the full Atom 2, but it's a bit simpler, it's a bit nicer, it's a bit yeah, different from that one. So it's kind of, you know, it's not your super basic printer that you might see there we go, on Gearbest, AliExpress, etc., where it's literally just the same thing over and over again. There has been some actual development put into this machine. So let's go ahead, let's start digging in right here. Oh, hold up, I should actually publish this stream before I start digging in. Give me a second here. And that would actually be, yeah, if you go public, publish, there we go. Now we might see some viewers come in. There we go. I've not live streamed for a while. Cool, so let me see, that is way overexposed. But let's start at the top. Okay, this thing's coming out as a unit. See if I bump this guy down, we should get proper exposure again. Maybe Logitech. So power supply, I can at least show you like this. Power supply, if that thing looks familiar, with the locking plug on this end, that's because it is. This is the Ultimaker 3 power supply. Essentially, meanwhile, big brick on the outside. Power cord, that is a UK power cord, which I'm not going to be using. So I'll have to find a different one, which isn't that hard in here. And here it is. Okay, so this is, now a bit of a disclaimer here, this is a demo model basically. This is one that was out at, where was it? At TCT? Somewhere. It was at some show recently, so this is not the full retail packaging, which is why it kind of looks messy in here. So this one has been used before. All right, that is quite the machine. It's packaging right there. Let me just get this out of the way first. So I guess that's the bottom, top packaging, something. Looks like there's a cutout for the filament spool, which is just flying around in here. I hope nothing's been damaged during shipping. We do get glue stick and the magnetic rods. So this is what holds up the tool head. That's something that's been threaded in somewhere, so that looks like a spool mount that goes somewhere. More rods. Data sheets. Yeah, so this is, yeah, data sheets. Usually you do get a quick start guide, which is probably in here somewhere. Usually you do get a quick start guide. I've checked with them. So quick start guide is what will be included, not just the data sheets, when you actually get this as a retail unit. And you will also not get the, there we go, the print from a previous print on the bed. You will actually get a clean bed, I would think. So that was probably something that they printed at the show. So let's see, we're getting some Monoprice filament with it. So that is some black PLA plus premium 3D printing filament. So let's get this thing out of the packaging here without dropping too much and smashing everything. There we go. Are you live? I am. I don't know if you are. So there we go. Unboxing completed. That was fast enough. So this is a fully assembled machine. There's nothing to calibrate. Well, you can calibrate it. It does have all the PID, auto tune, and rod length calibration routines in there. Well, you can manually measure these, but it comes ready to go from the factory basically. So as you've seen from the Atom 2, if you've seen that review, these are magnetic rods, so they go on, pull one of these down, on these balls basically, and they just snap on magnetically, like so. I'm sure they, you know, in the retail package, these would be packaged differently. And you also would not get the dust on these. So Atom Max Swap. So this entire platform is, you know, quick swappable. But the Hotend, it's interesting that the Hotend they're using still has the groove mount up here, even though this is not using the groove mount at all. Interesting. Oh, and it's also black anodized aluminum. Look at that. So this is what you get in the toolkit basically. So this is kind of like an E3D V5 style Hotend. It might actually, yeah, so it's got a clamped heater cartridge, or thermistor cartridge, it's got a heater cartridge in here. It's got a V5 style block and then the aluminum heatsink up top. But I've heard they are working on, let me see if I actually get this right. I've heard they are working on actually getting an actual genuine E3D toolhead in here. So probably mounting this, yeah, mounting this backwards. So this machine is not mine to keep, unfortunately. So it will be going to E3D once I'm done with it, and they will look into whether they can make their Hotend work on this very platform. So it does have a removable heater core. I see there are some grub screws in here, and it said there's an included Allen wrench for those. I'm not seeing it. I might have to get one of my own if I want to show that. Let me know, do you guys want to see how the Hotend, the hot side comes out of this guy? If so, I will need to grab a wrench real quick. Quick exposure correction there so you can actually see what's going on. Yeah, so overall, I mean, it's a very simple printer. So it's a Delta, obviously, 3 columns, 3 pillars on each, or 1 on each corner. So each of these has, there's one right there. So you get the magnetic sockets for your aluminum arms. Belt that is Gates, it says on the side. At least I'm seeing it in here. Yes, 2GT, made in Japan. Gates belt. No tensioning as far as I'm aware, but that might be up top here. You've got your mechanical end stops all the way behind the extruder. There we go, mechanical end stops up here. Extruder, this guy's, well, looks pretty familiar. It does have adjustable tension, so there's a small screw in here that you can adjust this spring pressure with. It's got a groove bearing and a pretty dull spur gear, so that's not a very sharp profile, but well, it usually works with your standard. Just realizing I'm probably missing the auto level sensor. It does work with most filaments. This is a pretty much PLA only printer, so the Hotend right now unless, you know, down the road you get the upgrade from E3D. This is a Teflon line printer, so it's 260 degrees Celsius that they're rating it for, though I think, you know, 260 might be pushing it. I like to keep my PTFE hotends below 245-ish, because above that, yeah, it does it does soften up and it might give you some issues down the road. But 260 is what it's officially rated for. Let me see. So one cool thing about this machine is it does have auto leveling, but it's not actually built into the effector. So there's this little connector right here, this guy. So green wire, 2 connectors, that's a standard 2-pin DuPont connector. And then you get a force-sensitive resistor ring, which I don't think I got. Let me check over here. So it's not in here. Nothing left in the box. Oh, I'm taking out my lights. And that is just the power cord and a spool mount, which goes probably here. Yes. So unfortunately, that's not something that with 2 lines hot ends and one all metal. Oh, okay. So yeah, these are also loose. So let me check. So the auto leveling tool does not seem to be included with this sample printer. That's a shame. Unless it's stuck in here somewhere. So yeah, Mike from Atom 3D is actually correcting me here in chat. So the default is a Teflon lined hotend, the default hotend that comes on the printer, and that's also what it says on the Monoprice site. But it apparently also comes with an all metal one. So that's an interesting choice that they're not doing the all metal one as default. Maybe they were having some PLA problems with that. But apparently it comes with a selection of hotends. All right, I'm not going to be able to show you the auto leveling, unfortunately, because it doesn't have the sensor included. So I'm going to attach the. Can you guys actually see anything if I switch to this one? There you go. So very simple spool mount. And I might need to turn down the exposure on that camera too. Power supply box, unfortunately, is also empty. Have I been running this printer? No, we just started the stream. I didn't have it on public when we started, but this has just started 10 minutes ago. So check the power supply box. I'm gonna check it again, but there's nothing else in here. Power supply box literally is empty. So unfortunately, I don't think I did get the sensor. There's also supposed to be, again, a hex wrench included to take out the heater core, the hot side, which has not been included in this. Again, demo unit, this has been around the globe pretty much, and stuff gets lost in transit. Nonetheless, let's actually get this thing plugged in. Oh, I'm seeing that they did give me an extra US power cord with no ground pin. So neither of these I'm going to use. I'm going to pick a Schuko-Stecker. So that's our European plugs. One in here, and then again, Ultimaker power supply. These work really well. These are Meanwell. Plug that thing in, give it a go, and let's see if this thing goes up in smoke or actually works. No power switch. Power supply is blue, and oh yeah, there's a power switch up here. Okay. So first impressions, no obnoxious fan that is just spinning up the entire time. So there is a fan. It is relatively quiet. So they're saying 50 decibels. Anyone else having trouble with the link in the Delta? Oh. And I just dropped in that standoff. So these screws are kind of loose on the bed. I just want to see what's in here. I'm nosy like that. So this actually is a pretty massive heated bed. So it's a full glass plate. It's not a round bed. It's actually triangular. And yeah, so same construction as on the Atom. So we've got This is quite nice. So we've got some insulating foam. Then we have, I assume, so this is a heater PCB. So foam, then aluminum, thin aluminum PCB that has been bonded to the glass. So some manufacturers, because they don't know any better, they actually just stick a silicone heater to the glass, and that kind of tends not to work out. But we do have aluminum bonded to the glass, so we get an intermediary layer that kind of spreads the heat. It's interesting to see this entire outside edge right here where it doesn't have any heating to it, but since glass is not that good of a heat conductor, I would think that this is at least all right, that this is not something that's going to give us like tremendously bad, well, heat distribution basically. But that is something that I can check in the full review with the FLIR thermal camera. The link for the printer has something wrong. I will look into that in a second. All right, now of course I took this apart. I also got to get it back together. So standoffs to the base frame right here. Nicely done. If I could just get this back in, there we go. So the original Atom was basically machine profiles, screwed together and then machined base frames. This is a bit nicer. So these are custom extrusions on the sides, and they have, so there's open builds style wheels on the inside. So I don't know if you can actually see that. So these run on the inside of the channel. Yeah, you can just see one of the wheels right there, if it would focus. Yeah, don't think I can get it to focus back there. It's got one of the wheels back there, and that is riding on the inside of this track. So custom extrusion, no linear rails as in like, ball bearings, linear ball bearings. Get out of here, there we go. But should still be fine. It still feels super smooth. Don't lift the bed, well, too late. Mike, you know I like to take things apart. It's probably still leveled, yeah, so there's nothing that can be adjusted on the bed. The bed itself is rigidly coupled to the base frame. By the way, this was loose during shipping, so these screws weren't all tight, so it might have shifted around a bit. There's nothing to mechanically level the bed because it's just sitting on these standoffs that are just fixed length. And all the leveling is supposed to happen through the bed sensor, which clips onto your Hotend. So you take it off when you print, and before the print you basically just go flip. That sticks on the Hotend and basically levels your bed mechanically. It probes the bed, and yeah, that's that. All right. Let me check the link real quick. Thought I had checked that. Delta Pro. Oh yeah, just take out the GoDot. Why does that not work? It's probably... I know this is like super exciting, watching me fix my YouTube descriptions. There we go, now it should work. Cool. So again, this is a machine that has been on shows and stuff, so I don't expect this to be totally perfect. Cool. So let's actually take a quick tour of the touchscreen interface, because this is not something that I've seen, at least this exact interface is not something that I've seen on any other machine. This is, ooh, look at that. What can we get? Minimum reflections. Maybe like that, I guess. So touchscreen interface, this is all custom. This is all, basically freshly done. This is not something that's out there already. Let me see. So settings, structure, motor, temperature, system. Let me see if we can see the live temperature. Hotend 1. Apparently there is a provisioning for dual Hotends, because we get Hotend 1 and Hotend 2 settings. A little closer, can we get rid of some of the glare? No. All right. Hotend 1, Hotend 2, so apparently there is a dual extrusion upgrade planned at least. So sensor, you know, you get the full firmware settings basically exposed here. Yeah, probably shouldn't be in here. Structure, radius of the machine, so you can reset all this. You can still play with it, though it should be set from the factory. You get everything, acceleration, speed on the touchscreen, decent accelerations here. Let me see. Mutation speed, max speed 300 millimeters a second. That's pretty good. Mutation, that's probably jerk. Yeah, that's the jerk setting. Pretty high on that one. Step direction, you can basically set everything. Calibration tips, sounds. Oh yeah, there's probably a beeper in here. Let me see. So this thing does print from USB from your PC, which I guess is the Wi-Fi functionality then, and from SD cards. So that must be on this side over here. Yeah, let's check that out. There is a full-size USB port right there. And SD, not seeing SD card. Is there one in here? No. So I will probably need a USB drive, which we can then feed with G-codes. I don't have one here. I thought there would be one included, but there was not. And SD card, there might be one inside the printer. So, ooh, baud rate. Does this support USB serial? Doesn't look like it, but. Ah, right, yeah, so you can, I guess, set it up as an access point and directly connected, which can be quite useful on the road if you don't have a network set up already. Let me see if I can find a USB drive around here. I don't use those that much anymore. There is not one here. Okay, I'll just quickly run upstairs and grab one. Nope, found one. Found one. So let's see what's on here. I'm hoping nothing incriminating. Oh, just the Windows install. Cool. Oh, and it's a Tree Frog G-code. Nice. So there's that. Let's go over features real quick. If I missed anything, yeah, aluminum construction, triple fan. So it does have the dual print head fan setup. Well, they're calling it triple fan. One is for the hot end, obviously. One is the aluminum heatsink, and the other two are cooling your print. So there's some decent ducting around here, so it blows over your print from both sides, so you don't get like overhangs on one side curling up more than on the other, which can happen if you just have one weak fan on one side. So triple fan cooling, simple swap hot, and I guess, yeah, you can see that here. So it's got a smooth heat break, essentially. Smooth heat break that just slides out, and then you clamp it down with two screws on the back right here. The two spare hot ends provided. Okay. At different nozzle sizes, nozzle types, yeah, so this is possibly just your standard E3D style M6 hot end or nozzle, so you should be able to swap in your standard nozzles that you already have. Extra large heated glass. Yeah, we're gonna check this out in the full review, whether this actually heats up evenly. This is a fairly large glass plate, and the heater is only about this size in here. So the edges are not heated, so the edges probably are not printable either. Auto bed leveling, yeah, there you can see the sensor, so it's this little nubbin that you basically slide over your hot end, and then your hot end tip, as far as I understand it, actually presses down on the glass. Print quality, well, I saw the print results at Bay Area Maker Faire, and they looked very nice. They look pretty impressive. Solid metal frame, borosilicate glass, yes, fully assembled, aluminum effector arms, everything in place. Okay, multiple included hot ends, two. Oh, now we're up to 3 hot ends, 2 PTFE lined and 1 full metal hot end. Or all metal. And yes, filament sensor. Filament runout sensor. That's something that we should probably also mention. So if you look up here, it's actually, it's super simple. I don't know why more manufacturers do it this way. Can you guys see this? It is so, like, if you don't know it's there, you might just miss it. So let's put some visible filament on here. So filament spool goes on here. And, well, maybe the other way around. Then, of course, I can't see what I'm doing because this thing is so tall. Give me a second. So, yeah, using this on a tall desk like this maybe isn't the best idea, but there we go. So this feeds in. There's my controls. Ah, perfect. So little arrow right there. So this feeds in right here, I guess. Ah, yeah. Did you see that green light come on? Pull it out again. So this just feeds through here. So this is literally just a micro switch, just a little clicky switch. So if your filament runs out, this goes off and the firmware knows, hey, we're out of filament, we might want to stop printing. So super simple concept, and yeah, there's no reason why that just wouldn't work. So I would love more manufacturers just to do the exact same thing. All right, let's see. So let me show you the setup real quick here. So there you get all of the relevant information, hassle-free packaging, and we're going to install the KISS slicer that you get. There we go. So Atom 3D apparently are a big fan of KISS slicer. I wonder what I have in this folder. There we go. KISS slicer for Monoprice. And we're just going to install this. Windows protected this PC. Yes, unknown publisher, run anyways. Let's do expert, because we are experts after all. So KISS slicer interface. If you've used it before, it's going to look familiar. If you've not used it before, it's going to look pretty archaic. There. So you get your print preview. Everything is kind of gray, but Mike talked about how this thing was custom because it's blue. So apparently KISS slicer is orange by default. You've got your model in here, and you can kind of see the representation of the print volume right here. So if you compare that to our real life print volume, there you go. You kind of get the idea of how much of this you can actually use. Let me see. So printer profile, Monoprice Delta Pro, style profile, support profile. Everything's in here already. So this is just a fully pre-configured version of KISS slicer, which is, you know, not the slicer I use all the time, but still one that works for this machine. I always like having pre-configured stuff because it just makes life so much easier. Now I thought I had copied in some STLs over here. There we go. Oh, these have the weird Windows. Oops. The weird Windows 3D preview style to them. So let's just pull in these guys. Why did you overload me like this? But that should actually be fine. Yeah. So this is the origami carabine hook by ddf3d.com. You can find this thing on Thingiverse. I am actually going to all models scale. I'm actually going to scale this down because I've tried this before, and this would take about 2 hours to print if I would just print it as is. So 0.75, 75% scale is going to scale it right down. Slice, and that is the KISS slice animation, and we're at 1 hour 04. Let's scale it down a bit more. So if I do 0.8, does that? Yeah, that scales it on top of that. So this is going to be a fairly small print. So 40 minutes, that sounds doable. 3 grams of filament, perfect. And let's just do a quick model plus path 3D. So there is our print. So by default, it's using pretty sparse, what is this, grid infill. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's do save. Let's save this onto our, yeah, we're not going to print these, onto our USB thumb drive. There you go, and that should be done, right? Let's check on the drive. So we have our tree frog. No, that's a different one. DD007 and DH010.G code. 2.7 megabytes. Perfect. Eject. And now we have our USB drive. So KissSlicer says 39 minutes 0.85, and I've tried the pretty much exact same parts with very comparable settings in Prusa Slicer, or Prusa Slick3R for the Prusa. Oh yeah, it's printing with support. Damn, thanks for pointing that out. I'm gonna get back to that in a second. So we're gonna do skirt only. I don't know why it's full support by default. We shouldn't need that. There we go, 37 minutes. Yeah, so I've tried the same parts in the Prusa Slick3R with the Prusa profiles, which gave me print speed. So this thing at full size was almost 2 hours in KissSlicer for this printer setup. And in the Prusa Slick3R for the Mark III, it was 1 hour 22 minutes. So it was about, I guess, a quarter of the time faster. So 3/4 of the time to print the same thing. Though I'm not sure how much I can trust either of those predictions. Yeah, and again, I'm not that familiar with KissSlicer. Is the bed clean? We're going to clean that in a second, or at least we're going to give it some fresh glue. So this is just plain glass. It's borosilicate, heat treated, whatever. But they also included some glue sticks. So this is K-Stick Disappearing Purple Glue. I'm not sure if that is like some specific one, and if that is the one that is going to get included in the final unit, but we're not going to need that much, so let's just give it some glue stick. Though I'm pretty sure you can also just print on the clean glass. If you actually clean this well with alcohol, you should be able to directly get stuff to stick on glass. Though if you're printing something like PETG, as always, or flexibles, do not print onto glass, because the glass will bond to your print and it's gonna tear out chunks of it. So let's see, play from USB drive. So now that has the checkbox. So we have zoom on the camera so you guys actually see what's going on. No. No, I misclicked, apparently. Let's try this again. Did I print the folder? Okay, there's our G code. So it sounded like the end stops weren't quite that happy, because there's filament stuck on one side here. Yeah, I don't have filament loaded yet, which I guess I should do. Yeah, so this side had some filament stuck in there. I guess I should load some filament. So the instructions say to cut it at a 45-degree angle, which I'm gonna do. There you go. And if you guys know my printer unboxings, my usual, kind of process I get on these videos, and at which time and how fast things move, I think we're doing pretty well. So there's the extruder. Let's basically just feed it in. The filament's having to go around quite a steep angle here. So the filament sensor is angled out like this, and then the filament needs to go into the extruder like that. So it needs to do almost, oh, this swivels. Okay, this was kind of stuck, I guess. Maybe. Ah, yeah, now it turns. There we go. So just feed this down to the hot end, and the skirt should take care of any priming that might still be left. So at an end here, not sure if this is intended to actually stick into the spool, this cable here of the sensor, but yeah. Sweet. So let's actually get this this print started again. So the perfect one. So you can actually delete things on here. I guess that's when you're done with a print. Print model. I'm not sure why it homed just a second ago when I clicked somewhere. So print model, yes. So home is working. Let me see. So apparently there is a. You can take the sensor of the rod off the rod. Oh, okay. So this sensor. Ah, there we go. So this sensor right here, it's just stuck on this screw by default, but you can just completely take it off and have it free floating. So I guess it's going to butt up against the extruder right here. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. So it's literally just being guided by the filament. Nice. So homing, not sure if this thing is homed or leveled or whatever. It did have a bit of a rough shipping time apparently. But there is supposedly the option to do a real-time, like, live adjust Z, so there we go. That must be these two down here, where you can just go hot end up, hot end down. I'm thinking these are just the live adjustments. If you see your first layer is going down too tight or too far away from the bed, you get your real-time adjustments. Oh yeah, my tea is done. This has had enough time to stew. Some ginger tea. Yeah, so the heated bed, I'm not sure how hot that gets, but I wouldn't think it gets, you know, crazy hot. It's just a PCB heater. So PCB heater with a big slab of glass on top. So we are at, press this one. Yeah, we're at 40 degrees, so it does heat up reasonably fast. I mean, there's for sure printers that are faster and there's printers that are slower. So it's slowly creeping up to temperature. The hot end so far is still staying cool, which is, I guess, expected. So it's, yeah, it might be enough for ABS, maybe, if you even want to print ABS. It should definitely get it hot enough for PTG, considering that we're doing 70 already. So yeah, but it's, yeah, place the, oh yeah, you can really feel that the edges are not getting warm at all. Place this thing on the bed, yeah, it's not that warm yet. That thing looks huge, yeah, so it is pretty much almost 1 meter tall. In fact, we can't even get it on the front camera in its full extent. I can maybe move back that camera just slightly. See, so if I move this guy back, there we go. Now we can see what's going on. Now probably everything's out of focus. That's better. So yes, it's quite the tall machine. I guess I should have moved the camera back earlier. So it is run by a large board. Looks like the screen they use. Well, a 3.5 inch screen isn't all that uncommon. Like, it's your standard screen for everything, basically. Oh, that is good. So yeah, place a CT on the printer. Good bacon and eggs. Yeah, again, I don't think it gets that hot, but yeah, so it actually, so I think I should be able to pick it up without messing things up, and it's not, yeah, it's not at its full temperature yet. It is lighter than it looks, actually. It's not, it is massive, like, don't get me wrong, it is a massive printer. It's got these massive custom aluminum extrusions on the side, but it's still, like, luggable. And what I kind of like about this guy already over the stock Atom 2.0 is it doesn't have, so the Atom had like the machine profiles on the pillars, and then had like shrouds around them, and those have pretty sharp corners. This guy is like all smooth. It is very pleasing to touch. It has kind of a light textured surface. Maybe I can get you like a bit of a close-up of this. So this, you can kind of hear that sound my fingers make. So it's not just anodized, it might be powder coated, I'm not sure, but that would make sense for the inside rails. It's very soft to touch actually, so all the edges are chamfered. There's nothing, well, except for this front plate, there's nothing sharp and stabby. And same goes up top right here. So these rails are also smooth and nice. So there's these covers, well, these covers right here. I don't think these come with the printer. Yeah, you can just see the belt right in here. I think these are like the first prints that you can do with the printer. These should be included in whatever media comes with it. And then you can print these and kind of customize your machine. So these are 3D printed on this one as well. 3D printed brackets right there. And yeah. So on the Atom, these things were carbon fiber, which was nice, was good to look at, but these are aluminum. Not really a downgrade. I built my Service Reborn with aluminum arms and I'm not seeing any issues with it. Yeah, everything is metal, so everything is like a direct metal to metal contact. You've got these fat extrusions on the corners. You've got these bars up top. You've got the base frame, which is again a custom extrusion with kind of this, yeah, what would you call this? With this texture to it. So yeah, looking good, looking good. Bed is at 69.2 out of 70, so we should see the Hotend come into life in a second. Sandblasted finish. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, Mike is saying, so sandblasted finish feels very, very nice. Ah yeah, so we've got the Hotend fan right here coming to life right now as it's starting to heat up. So far it was just the bed, and actually feeling the bed, so it is, yeah, it's definitely hot up here. It is still pretty hot up to the edge, and right around this area right here is where it gets significantly cooler. So yeah, here I can't leave my finger on this for more than half a second, but like right here it's already getting pretty cool. So I'm figuring you're losing maybe a bit of your print area by having the actual heated bed just a bit smaller than, well, smaller than what it could be. Though again, that's going to be something that I will measure with the thermal camera. What else about this printer? We talked about kinematics, so gates, belts, and open builds wheels on the inside of these custom channels. We've talked about the Hotend, which is kind of a E3D lookalike, though E3D apparently will be providing a genuine E3D experience for this guy. Extruder, adjustable, simple, groove bearing, guides the filament. We've got the filament runout sensor, and we've got a print going. Okay, and the height is perfect. I don't even need to correct anything with this. So there's still some black filament in here, which is the filament that was included in the box as well. There you go. I'm actually going to swap lenses real quick because this 12 to 35 is not close enough. There we go. That's better. Yo, maybe autofocus. There we go. So yeah, you can see kind of the mess they've already made while using this printer. This is well used. It's been around the world almost. I don't know where exactly it's been, but it has seen some use already. So I am printing with the Protopasta TOM with the teal orange metallic HDPLA, it's the filament color that I basically made while I visited them at the beginning of this year, and it is looking good. It's kind of mixing with the black a bit, which I actually like. And Protoparts have just released a filament color that is a bit darker than the one we made. So again, perfect first lay without calibration. So it did survive. The calibration did survive shipping. It did survive me taking off the bed, which is nice. Which kind of speaks to the fact that this thing is, well, at least built somewhat well. Better than a Mark III. We'll have to check that out in a review. Again, so this stream has been running for an hour and 16 minutes. No, hold on. What is OBS telling me? For 45 minutes. For 45 minutes, and that is literally all the time I've had with this machine. I've just taken it out of the box. I've just plugged it in and sliced something for it. So far, it is looking very good. Print speed actually is pretty fast as well. Definitely faster than the Kiss Slicer predictions suggested. But when you choose a Delta, Delta inherently has, or does not have, some of the artifacting that some other printers might have. And Deltas also come with a very unique build volume dimensioning. So this one is officially 270 diameter, so you can print something that has a full 270 millimeter diameter, well, tube shape, basically 300 millimeters tall. It does go a bit taller than that, though the Delta surface kind of tapers off to the side simply because of the way the arms are laid out. Well, you can print something that is like 340, but then you don't get the full build volume. You get what I'm saying. So the official sizing is 270 by 300 millimeters tall. And because it is, Deltas are always Bowdens. Almost knocked off that tool head. Deltas are always Bowdens, so they have a very light tool head. There's not much on this tool head at all. Just a bunch of fans, the Hotend, and that is basically it. So you do get either very fast acceleration or artifact-free printing. Again, that is kind of the idea of that. Though Deltas do have their own limitations if they're not built well. They will print worse than a not built well Cartesian machine. But yeah, this one definitely is solid, and I think that is very important for Delta printers specifically. And also, it just looks cool to watch, right? That's one of the big advantages of a Delta. It's just, this entire thing is just kind of free floating and doing its thing. Just looks cool, because what a Delta essentially does, it translates linear motion in each of these carriages into X, Y, Z motion. And if you've not looked into the kinematics behind it, it is pretty mind-blowing. It's pretty nice. There you go. So this thing does have trinamic drivers. And it is relatively quiet. Relatively quiet. The fans are one of the noisiest bits on it right now. So if we actually, let me see. Yeah, so this one is not that loud, but I think they're just 3 identical fans. These 3 in total kind of make more ruckus than all the other printer, all the other bits on this printer. Though you do have to keep in mind that this is an IKEA table, so this is one of those cardboard honeycomb constructions with just a thin veneer up top and on the bottom. So this kind of does amplify noise, especially resonances and vibrations from the machine. So it probably is a bit louder than what you would get if you would have it on a more massive table surface. It does give off some vibrations, so you can feel it and you can also hear that. Not trinamic? What? Why does Monoprice say TMC drivers then? Where did I see that? Where did I see that? I saw that they were saying TMC drivers somewhere. Of course, now that I'm looking for it, I cannot find it. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, so it is quiet. Though, I mean, looking at the vibrations or checking out the vibrations, it is definitely, it does give off some vibrations. It is not super smooth, but it's quite enough, I'd say. So if the fans were a bit less noisy, I would be happy having this in the same room with me. Of course, then you do run into the issue of fumes and all that, but that's a whole different story. That's not something that is specific to any 3D printer. Cool. Thank you for the €20 donation to the super chat from Max Dark Dog. What do I think about the SCurve and Linear Advance 1.5 Spider from the T brand? Yeah, and it's a bit hard to figure out how to set it up. So SCurve is a fantastic feature. So for those of you, so thanks for the tip and thanks for those questions, by the way. So SCurve Acceleration is basically a model where you have a constant, or not a constant, a smooth everything, where you don't have like an acceleration that suddenly starts up and then goes to zero. So it accelerates very smoothly, and the jerk is very smooth. So not the jerk that Marlon uses, which is the wrong definition of jerk. Yada yada. It is a very smooth and resonance-free way of accelerating a linear component or a rotational component, and it's a great feature to have. And if you can set it up, I think it's going to make a world of a difference. If you have a weak mechanical construction. So yeah, SCurve, definitely very nice. Linear Advance, I'm not sure how much of a difference that is actually making right now, because we have so many like different models that kind of work around the intrinsic properties of our Bowden systems and Hotends and all the delays and stuff that are kind of involved with 3D printing. So not sure if Linear Advance is like the best model for that yet, but it can definitely help. Just try it out, give it a check. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in normal printing speeds, but it might allow you to print faster or with different settings that so far did not work. Hope that answers that. Moving to the spot is really loud. Is normal. So yeah, I'm right here. I'm next to the printer. Mic is right there on my collar, so you kind of get an idea of how loud this entire thing is. It's decent. What I really appreciate is that there is no no whine, no high frequency pitched, constant noise that some motor driver combinations just exhibit. Nothing of that. So that's something I value more than having a bit more operational noise. So who asked that? The Apple Freak was asking what power or what voltage does this run on? It runs on this voltage, which is the Meanwell GST220A 24-R7B, aka the Ultimaker power supply. So 24 volt power supply. This is 9.2 amps, 221 watts, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I guess it's enough for this setup. And it's a Meanwell, so you're not running it at its max capacity. If you're drawing 50% of it, it's rated load already. So yeah, 24 volt system right here. Does the quality not look too good? The quality looks pretty good. So let me zoom in all the way and kind of give you a fly around. So no, that way. So on this side over here, there's actually text on the printed part. So that side you see right there, that is like a name or the creator or something. Also on the inner piece, but so far the sides are looking, you know, very, very nice, I'd say. Might be a bit under extruding, ever so slightly. If you look at the top surface, oh, can I actually pick this up? Yeah, I can. So if you look at the top surface, right, come on, right there, especially on that corner over there, it's not like entirely solid, but certainly more than passable. There we go. That's the corner I mean. But yeah, overall quality, pretty good. Pretty good. So this, come on. Come on. Might just be too close. There we go. So side surfaces, very smooth, as you would expect from a Delta. There you go. That should be super crispy. By the way, remember to kick up the playback quality to 4K or at least to 1440p if you're watching this, so that my my super resource intensive streaming setup is not wasted. There you go. Noctua doesn't make 24-volt fans. I'm sure you can custom order those. And also, you know, this is still wired up. There's still wires going from the tool head to your electronics. So you could just drop a like a 12-volt buck regulator in there and use that with 12-volt fans. I mean, yeah, I know that the camera is noisy if it's boosted that far, but you're free to buy me a full format Sony or Canon. I mean, very much open for that. So we are at 62%. Kiss Slicer was predicting 39 minutes. I'm not sure if this has a timer with it. No. Oh yeah, it does. 21 minutes. So 21 minutes at 63%. So it looks like it's going to be pretty close to the. Oh yeah, so it's going to be pretty close to the estimate, maybe a bit quicker. Tony Ryan saying Prusa Mark III has 24-volt Noctuas. I believe those are 5-volt Noctuas actually, so they might not be 24. They might be 5. Can that extruder do something to avoid stringing or just do a super duper speed printing? So the extruder is actually just, there you go. You can see it kind of jerking that filament sensor back and forth. But it is just a very simple spring-loaded single gear extruder, just doing the back and forth. So yeah. See right up here. So those vibrations you're seeing on this front edge right there, let me just check the model and see how that should look. Because I think there's just a lot going on in this model. Oh yeah. So if you actually look at that, so that's basically the perspective you're seeing. Kind of like that. So there's these ridges up here, there's this logo on the side here, there's the Enner design on this side, there's the ddf3d.com on that side, there's another logo on this side. So if you're seeing surfaces that aren't perfect, you might actually just be looking at the logos or at the stuff that should be there. Because from what I'm seeing, it's actually pretty nice. If it runs out of filament, the sensor just drops. I believe the sensor is made in a way, you can see it kind of bouncing around there. is made in a way where I can actually not see where the micro switch is, but it's just going to be stuck on like a little lip of filament. So the printer is going to stop printing once it runs out of filament. Actually, if I unplug this, this should trigger, I think. Maybe not. Should I try? Should I just unplug this guy? It should just stop printing and tell me, hey, you're out of filament. So I don't really want to deal with the loading and unloading process. Yeah, so it's going to be stuck on the last bit of filament that's still going to be in there. Yeah, I wish I could have shown you the auto leveling process, because I think that is kind of a nice solution to the entire thing without breaking the bank. There we go. Now you can see the inner design kind of imprint on that. So, which way is this printing? Clockwise, counterclockwise? I'm looking for ringing on the on this side, on my side over here, and I'm not seeing any. Yeah, so it's printing counterclockwise, which means on this side over here there should be some ringing, but there is not. So that is nice. And just layer consistency, again, as expected for a Delta. That is like the one thing a Delta will excel at. It's just consistency across layers, because there's, you know, the motion adds so much dithering, so much, I guess, noise, if you want, to your X, Y, Z coordinates that the models and the layers are oriented along. That you don't really get those classic X, Y, Z artifacts you would get on a Cartesian. Let me just pull up the model here real quick. So this is the model that we're printing. We're printing the Origami Carabiner by ddf3d.com, one of the popular designs on Thingiverse. You can print it as a two-color print, which I did not do. I just wanted to have something that printed relatively quickly. I am printing this at, let me see, 75%, and then again 80% scaled down. So that's like 60% roughly, 60% original scale, so quite a bit smaller than these. Yeah, that is exactly what we're printing. Looks like Mike misclicked. So do we have an opinion on plugging or unplugging things? No. But I guess we're at 95%. Let's just do this real quick and unplug this guy. Ah. So if we unplug the sensor, or if the sensor triggers, it's going to give you that. Number one material exhausted. The Hotend will be, I can't actually read that on the screen. The Hotend will be closed after 140 seconds. Okay. So it doesn't auto retract or anything, it just stops, but it does lift up the Hotend, which is nice. So you don't get that huge blob, and if we replug this, which is basically we've reinserted the filament. Check. This is the point where printer manufacturers usually if I do load, will it actually grind through? Yes, it will try to grind it. This is the point where printer manufacturers usually get cold sweat. So load, unload is actually, yeah, doing the full shove it into the printer cycle, shove it into the Hotend cycle. I guess we just need to close this. No. Play? There we go. So now we've, I guess we could have changed the filament. The filament had run out. And we're right back to printing. And filament is coming out. Yeah, new, there. So that is how the filament sensor works basically. What happens is, if the filament runs out, Hotend lifts up, so you don't get that huge ooze bubble on your print. Hotend lifts up. It does not extrude or retract or load by itself. You actually do that on the LCD. And yeah, then you're basically free to unload, reload filament, do whatever. As soon as you've loaded it, you hit play again and it just keeps on printing like nothing happened, which is great. It's simple, it works, it's nice. More printers should have it. This is literally like a, the switch is like 2 cents to buy. Plus the plastic housing is probably more expensive, and the PCB and the connector in here, more expensive than the switch itself. So if you want to DIY something like this, go for it. Very, very simple design. All right, and our print is done. So print completed. This is what we're getting on the LCD. Print completed, print time, 30 minutes. So it actually was, wow, it was like 30% faster than with Fusion. Kiss slicer, estimated. So if the Prusa estimates are correct, this would basically put it as fast as the Mark III on default settings, which is good. So, bed is still hot. I guess we can get a temperature reading somewhere 62 or 65. What speeds am I printing at? What is the diameter of the nozzle? I would say this is a 0.4, looks like it. What speed am I printing at? Defaults? Maybe Mike knows how fast that is. Yeah, should I leave this to cool a bit more? Sure, skirt can come off. There we go. Ah, I love glue stick. So yeah, obviously we're getting the brown rim on the bottom simply because there was some black filament loaded in this guy before. Let me get the printer out of the way. Yeah, Mike, your job is done. Mike, by the way, in Taiwan right now, Atom 3D, the guys who are actually manufacturing this printer, or designing and manufacturing this printer, are from Taiwan, so it's like 3 a.m. for him. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, what do we see? What do we see? What do we see? Layers, very consistent. Over here as well. There we go. That's the logo that was printed in. That's the other logo that was printed in. All looking very, very nice. So apparently Kiss Slicer doesn't do the thin wall fill very well. So that is just something that the slicer caused. There's a bit of stringing, no, nothing too bad. Then the other part, again, has a bit of an issue with infill touching the other side of the infill, but that's just slicer specific. Let me see now, how does this assemble? Thinking like that maybe somehow? Let me check Thingiverse real quick. So we've got this main body, and then we've got that and here, and so okay. So like this basically, and this needs to go in here? How? I'm supposed to get that in there. Do you have instructions? Maybe better than PLA in tensor load? What? That's news to me. Oh, oh, this is right. Here we go. So, okay, haha. So that doesn't look right. There we go. So this part right here is actually a printed spring. You can see how that kind of comes apart here. It's actually a spring. Oh, oh, nice. Okay. Now this is actually a fully functional, flexible carabiner. Nice. So you be the judge for print quality yourself. I think it's printed pretty nicely. Maybe a bit under extruded, ever so slightly. Maybe like 2 or 3%, which does help with print quality, yes. But there's nothing like ringing or overshoot. So you can see with the logos over here. The camera will focus on that, or if I just move into focus. This logo right here, on this side over here, there should be ringing if this thing was ringing. Same on the, well, on anywhere else on this part. So there's nothing of that. It seems to handle this sort of print just fine. And this part is actually quite cool. I would fully recommend checking it out and printing one for yourself if you want one. And again, the Thingiverse number is 1819242. Dial now for a free kilogram of peat now. So yeah, that's nice. So pretty small, pretty nice print, and this should be pretty robust as well, I guess. Yeah, sweet, cool. Anything else you guys want to know about this printer? Because I feel like this has been going way too smoothly and way too well for these usual live unboxings. Yeah, so obviously with this print, the brown bottom layer is kind of an artifact of the Hotend still being loaded up with black filament, but overall that is as good as 3D prints pretty much get today. Of course, so this was printed on 0.2mm layers, so pretty thick layers overall. So you are going to see a lot of that 3D printed look, and you can obviously go lower with your layer height. You can go to, I don't know, probably 50 microns, so 0.05 is kind of the reasonable limit for what you would do with today's 3D printers. And I'm sure this machine would be able to handle that as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it for this unboxing. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know, it's a bit too uneventful. It's too boring, it just works, which is one of the terms I know you guys hate, but I like seeing that when you take something out of the box. Even though it's missing the auto bed level sensor, I hope I'm still going to get one of those. That was simply because this machine has been shipped around the world and it's been at shows, and you know, naturally stuff goes missing. Does it have power outage recovery? I do not believe it has that. Does it have an all-metal Hotend? Yes, it comes with one of those, though I also did not get that. Yeah. I'm not going to do another print because I think we've seen it print. We've seen the noise, we've seen the print output, which is very nice. We've seen the noise, which is acceptable, it's decent. And that is, yeah. Again, this is just the unboxing, the first look at the Monoprice Delta Pro. Again, meter tall Delta. So far, so good. The full review will come. I will check this out in detail. I will torture test it. This is a print that you can see many of the flaws that a printer might have, but it's not a full-on test. It's not a full-on torture test. Yeah, just because people are asking what this printer does. Does it come with gummy bears? I don't think so. Better than the little monster? Yes, but also more expensive. Does it do Wi-Fi? Yes, it does do Wi-Fi, though I'm not exactly sure what it does for Wi-Fi, like what the interface is. I don't think it actually goes directly from KissSlicer to your printer, so there's no At least I'm not seeing one. There's no upload to your printer button in your slicer like you would get with the Ultimaker 3. I'm not sure what it actually does, whether it's just like a network drive that you get that you can then upload stuff to, or you get like a virtual serial port, or I don't know. I will need to try that out, but it does have Wi-Fi. Maybe you get a web interface. Not sure. Yeah. That's going to be it. Thank you all for coming along. Thanks for watching. And yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers.